Hello, my name is Peter Jenks. I'm an associate professor in the linguistics department at UC Berkeley, and I'm going to be answering the question, what is linguistics? So let's dig in to answer the question, what is linguistics, and also what do linguists do? So to start off, many of you maybe saw the movie Arrival, where you have the star character is a linguist who figures out how to communicate with this alien race of septopods by decoding their visual communication medium. And she does this by breaking it down into its pieces. And this is not so different from the types of things that linguists do. In fact, what linguistics is fundamentally is the scientific study of language. And so we can ask, how do you study language as a scientist? And there's a few different ways. You can analyze and compare the world's languages. You can use formal, precise theories about language to understand how they work. You can document, describe, and help preserve threatened languages. Study variation and social factors about language. Study how languages change. And also you can conduct experiments and build computational models about language. So here's some examples of linguists in action. So in the bottom left there, you have a former UC Berkeley graduate student, Jonathan Manker, working with speakers of Han in Alaska. On the right there, you have one of my colleagues, Love Michael, working with speakers of Mahinki to document and understand their language. On the left, you have another one of my colleagues, Andrew Garrett, working at the Breath of, and also a graduate student, Eric Meyer, there, working with participants in the Breath of Life workshop, which works with indigenous native groups to revitalize their languages. And then on the right, you have my colleague, Susan Lin, who's demonstrating how ultrasound imaging of articulation works to study exactly what the perceptual processes are in the human mouth. These are all just examples of some of the things that linguists do. But what linguists don't do is tell you how to speak correctly. Linguists are often actually advocates for the acceptance and inclusion of minoritized linguistic varieties, including, say, African American English, Caribbean Englishes, or Haitian Creole, which is a French Creole. Also, linguists advocate for the acceptance and and for the broader use of, for example, American Sign Language, which is a full language with a visual modality. Kind of like Septipod. And also, linguists are not really interested in learning to speak as many languages as possible. Linguists often speak a normal number of languages, but really study the structure of languages and how they work. So how do we do that? Well, linguists think of language as sort of a complex system of systems, and there's all these different subsystems within language that you can study, and you sort of break it down. So for example, within language, you can study phonetics, which is the study of individual speech sounds, both their acoustic properties and also how they're articulated with the mouth. Then you can look at those sounds and see how they're structured relative to each other, which is called phonology. You can then go out a little bit and look at morphology, which is the study of complex words or word grammar. You can look at syntax, which is the study of sentences and this sort of internal structure of sentences. And then semantics is the study of linguistic meaning. You can actually go even bigger to pragmatics, which is the study of sort of how context allows you to form meaning as well. All of these systems are interconnected and work together to make this beautiful, complex, intricate system of communication that humans have, which makes us unique from all other species, which is human language. Another thing about language then is that it's a social science. So linguistics is a social science. You don't just study linguistics in a lab, you also study it in society. So this includes studying variation, so the way that things like race and social factors influence our perception of different language varieties. This includes study of the way languages change over time and what the sort of principles of linguistic change are, as well as how you sort of reconstruct ancient languages. Cognitive linguistics is the study of the relationship between language and thought. And psycholinguistics helps us understand how, for example, psychological factors like memory and also, say, children acquiring language, how all of that occurs. There on the right, you see a map of, say, how historical linguists study the spread of Bantu languages across sub-Saharan Africa. And we can ask, what is linguistics good for? So what do you do with a linguistics degree? Well, you can do a lot of things. You can do speech and language pathology with a master's degree. That's a clinical worker who would work with people with aphasias or with developmental speech disabilities. You could be a computational linguist and develop AI like the work in, say, Siri or Alexa. This combines linguistics and also machine learning, computer science. You could be a language teacher. It's a perfect background for a career as a language educator, or you could also be a lawyer, for example. Linguistics is an amazing pre-law degree. Of course, you could also be an academic linguist or researcher and teach linguistics. If you want more information on linguistics or the Berkeley Linguistics Department, there's a linguistics roadmap. You see the first page of it on the right. You can also just Google linguistics roadmap, and also feel free to visit us at our department website for more pictures and more information about our department at Berkeley. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a great visit and a great Cal Day.